All right. Hope you got a coffee. Is there anything better than coffee and a guitar or talking about guitar? I don't think so. Drums. You can talk about drums, play drums as well. But no, I just kind of continuing off the idea I talked about last was perfectionism. Okay, so let's say you want to learn how to write songs, or you're having a hard time allowing songs to come through you or exist or whatever you want to think of. You're just like, that's been done. Yeah, it's all been done, including a song about how it's all been done. So you just have to kind of balance existing in a vacuum while you're writing. Like, you have to allow yourself that to not judge and censor yourself so quickly. So you have to allow the idea, and then when it starts bugging you, check in. Like, okay, what does that sound like? This is my process. What does that sound like? And my wife's always like, who cares? It's whatever. Yeah, and she's right. But I just like to know how close it is. And is it my song? Is it someone else's song? And what's similar, what's not? So then, because the chord changes, it's the rhythm, it's the riff, it's the vocal hook, it's what note you chose, what rhythm you chose to sing can really transform a song. Like, I have songs that are so similar, I'm like half embarrassed about it, but I kind of envy my earlier self that didn't care as much and didn't even realize similarities sometimes. But you can really transform a song by having it in a different key, different style, different rhythm, different vocal rhythm. Different vocal rhythm, if it starts on the end of a phrase and has pickup notes, or it's on the downbeats, or it's on all the ands, or it's slower than you'd expect, or it's faster than you'd expect. There's always a way to surprise and entertain people, because you want familiarity and newness, a surprise. Like, saw in an interview once, Sting, I believe, Beato. So you gotta balance that. Spend some time with the thing, because we don't know if we're gonna throw it out until we hear something that's kind of close to not finished but constructed. So you've got a verse, you've got a chorus. You can always scrap things, like I said in the last video, you got to just keep showing up, and don't feel like you have to stay on that song. If you come back and listen to it and it's just not coming to you, then just wait it out a little bit, check it, keep checking on it. But if it's just not doing it, just move on. Don't be afraid to try new versions of things. Don't be afraid to scrap and rewrite. And maybe this song needs a chorus. Like, a lot of the times my students, if they're doing songwriting, they don't want to keep writing, and I get it. You know what, I'm a hypocrite, because I haven't been picking up the pen enough. And I used to love having a book and just sitting there. Now it's just harder for me to kind of get in the I'm gonna write lyrics now mode. But once I do, I'm always happy, because that's really the feeling where the song is born. That's kind of important, like, if it's just a rhythm and a melody, yeah, okay, like, I'm digging this vibe, I know it's gonna be something, but then the words come, and sometimes it's actually disappointing at first. Oh, that means that. I don't, it's not very deep. I want it to be deeper. I want it to be this or that. When you're mumbling lyrics, try not to judge yourself too much. And even if you come up with a phrase, like, it feels like it's set in stone, but it's really not. If you actually just pick up the pen, or I suppose you could do a note thing on your phone. I've started doing that recently. I used to think it's the enemy, and it is, because you're going to look at Facebook by accident or whatever. Probably not Facebook if you're young, though. You know that it's not cool. But, so you pick up the pen, and then you got, okay, now I got ammunition. And you might find you even change, it's a sweet sunset rise. You might find that that you totally change your rhythm or your melody or embellish it, or maybe it doesn't fit your melody. Maybe you got to think it over and make it fit the way you pronounce your words. Maybe you got to kind of abandon. Don't be afraid, because you might stumble on something better, or maybe you got a new part on your hands. You know, the other thing I talk about a lot is contrast. Wow, I wish I could take a picture of that. It's contrast. How are you going to create your contrast? I get blank stares sometimes from the younger songwriters. You could do it harmonically, meaning the chords that maybe you bring a new chord and you emphasize it a little bit so that it doesn't feel like it's a Tool song in D. No offense. You bring in a new chord, so harmonically bring in contrast. Okay, that my ear gets a rest from that for a bridge or a chorus. Or you have an element that comes in, like a hi-hat or a tambourine. So how are you going to create the contrast with your recording and your... I know, I kind of look at recording as part of songwriting. So exciting. It's kind of, you're producing your song, you're figuring it out. And when you have different tools, you have different results, you know. And people say you're overproducing, not me, but you can. Whatever, that's your process. That's your process. You're creating. You're experimenting. Really want to take a picture of that. No, that's illegal. I can't show you. Holy cannolis. Beautiful. Yeah, so take your time. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, contrast. So maybe you just strum the chords more fully. Maybe you switch. Maybe it's only bass in the verses, and then guitar comes in. Like, that's super powerful. Taking an instrument out, man. Like, I can't tell you how many times it's like there's two guitars. Why don't you try sitting out? Contrast. Yeah. So there's so many ways to do that. What else could you do? Give me some ideas in the comments. How have you made a song? I've got songs that don't really have a chorus. Like, they're just instrumental choruses. Though I hate when that happens, and I've gotten lazy and I've left songs alone. It's pretty subjective, you know. It's you go by your process, but I'm just sharing my process and how I go through it. That being said, sometimes it starts with, like, if I force myself to get down in the basement, sometimes I start songs with the drums. Sometimes I start songs with kind of a guitar and melody. That's the most often. Guitar and a hook, like a line, a melody. Wow, that's getting nicer and nicer. Holy. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Creating contrast, allowing the song to come and exist in a vacuum, but then you check in on the outside world. How close is this? I'm gonna get sued or whatever. And that's about it. Just allow yourself to write it. You don't have to release it. Obviously, you're going to have a period where you're listening to it so much you get used to it. Or, sorry, you know it inside out. You know it inside out. And once that starts to happen, you're going to get hit. Like, if you've heard a song that's exactly like it, you're going to go, oh, shit. Like, that sounds too much like that. At some point, you're going to notice if it's really bad. But at the same time, you could just pivot a little bit, or you come up with a part that goes, oh, now it's okay because that totally doesn't sound the same. Or, yeah. Anyways, it doesn't, you know what, to be honest, it doesn't happen very much where I'm like, I can't write this song. It only happened one time where I play in a drop tuning that I like to use, and I had this picking pattern, and I had it for a couple days, and I revisited it, and it was Dust in the Wind basically, but like 2 octaves lower or something, or an octave lower, basically. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'm not finishing that. Like, that's too much. And you get stuck sometimes, but sometimes it takes me 5 years to finish a song, 10 years, 1 year. because it's an idea. And you know what? The greats are like that. Like, I'm not saying anything here, but the greats, if you listen to interviews, that's what they do. They, oh man, no more noise, right? They do. They leave stuff if it's not getting. If you can't find the puzzle, you can't put the puzzle together. You just leave it. The pros do it. The difference between the pros and the just regular people, both are fine. Is that the regular people probably get in their own way, like I did, where you just don't really exercise the muscle enough of recording and writing, because you just start to feel like it's all too much, and it kind of just paralyzes you to do the bad stuff. Like, you gotta. I hope that doesn't make noise. You gotta fail. You gotta make songs that are meh, and you gotta just keep going, I think. And if you stop stopping yourself, then you start starting yourself. you you just realize over time, oh, I've been showing up, and it shows, like. And again, it doesn't have to sound like everything else, like, as long as it doesn't hurt your ears and it's not out of tune. But even then, I mean, look at synth sounds. They actually tune them on purpose. So you never know what's going to happen with recording, but do tune your guitar every time you do a take, though. Don't start just, yeah. Unless you got a really good ear and you want to do it on purpose. But all I'm saying is happy accidents happen. But you got to show up. You got to look at that idea. I'm just repeating myself. I'm new at this whole talking to the mic thing, and I'm just kind of. I'll see you in the next one. See you in the next song. See you in the next video. Yes. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you guys see this? I don't know. Send me a letter. Comment it. If you can't hear me, then you can't answer. But I'll just take that as you can't hear me. Better. I don't know if you could see this, but I don't know if you guys can see this, but I don't know if you could hear this, but.